Whoa, yeah, making a video. She's wet again. Torrential style type, big rain. Ugh, it's kind of annoying. A lot of rain this month. Really is, I'm not complaining. It's summer, blah, blah. Well, I sort of am complaining a little. But whatever. Anyway. Sorry, I'm a little sniffly. Ooh, what the hell is that? It's a root. Okay, shaped like a dragon. Water. Look at it all in there. Anyway, into Contavat. We'll play along some more. I really do have to play some of these videos, I suppose, but I mean, they're kind of long and indirect. Just musing on, fear and desire, but in ways that I don't think are very constructive. They really are two different kinds of mechanisms, right? Your desires are basically innate. Hunger, horny, ego. These are all biological style type function. Pretty hardwired, generally speaking. What you particularly will desire to have sex with is variable, but the fact that you will is kind of inevitable. Ego, the same thing. It exists inside of us, this competitive nature. Some people deny it, but it's there, I think, in everyone. It's a function, a basic mechanism of human striving for betterment. Is even when you're being altruistic, part of while you're doing it is to satisfy your own perception of your own self-worth. It's hard to separate those. Where was it going? So that's the desire thing. So the desires are really innate, built in. The ego, the sex thing, and the food thing. But fears, the repulsions, they're more subtle. Those are based on general sensations that we don't like experiencing and our rational association between certain events and those sensations. So in most cases, the predominant number of cases, our fears are semi-rational and specific to experience. Some of it's conditioned. Like I have an anxiety disorder, so I have irrational, reactions, negative reactions to circumstances. I guess it could be called fear, but it's not really what's going on. It's an association, a reflex like vertigo or some other biological response that takes over, creates an inappropriate or overreaction of the adrenal system or the frightened system, and creates this anxiety sensation. It's sort of a different thing than being afraid of spiders or snakes. Like, let's just go use the innate fears, and you can see that they're very limited. There isn't a whole lot of innate ones that are built in. That most of our apprehensions or fears are, as I said, acquired through experience. We have a bad experience. We associate an event with the bad experience, and the brain makes these what it thinks are rational, logical connections. Unfortunately, sometimes what the brain subconsciously is associating isn't what isn't the substance or the correct thing. So instead of recognizing, let's say there's a car accident, your brain might associate yellow, because one of the cars was yellow, with the negativity of the car accident, rather than the fact that it was raining. So instead of becoming wearisome of rain, you become wearisome of yellow. And, that's this conditioned response. But I'm just saying, still, even with this conditioning element that can be sometimes broken, most of our fears are reason-based. We imagine the possibilities, like being afraid of poisonous food because all these corporations want to make money, or even nuclear power, afraid of the meltdown. we can imagine it, say that's not a good thing, and argue to prevent it. So that's another thing that was kind of weird, is Endocannabis is saying, okay, there's these fears that you're not going to be able to rationally escape. Life is threatening you with horrible death and a futile, failed existence. There's nothing you can do about that truth. The crap dice are rolling and you might get snake eyes. You're afraid. Now, he's not arguing that the right thing to do is to accept that fear and say, wow, is this dice worth rolling? Do I want to continue rolling dice? Instead, he's saying, ignore the fear. Let's placate the fear. Let's get rid of the fear. Let's recognize that because we can't change the outcome, that's his premise, that somehow the fear doesn't matter. If it happens, it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. Therefore, lump it. Something like that. Don't worry, be happy, and then go to the nursing home, drool on yourself for 10 years, and talk about how your kids suck, incoherently, and then not recognize them, but still know they suck somehow. Yes, totally be ready for it when it comes, by ignoring it, by pretending it's not coming, that the Reaper isn't coming for you, buddy. So pretend it's not happening by conceding that it will inevitably happen. It doesn't make any sense. And do absolutely nothing to prevent it from happening from the next sucker. I can analogize it. You're on a rickety roller coaster. You can hear the clunky wheels. You can hear that this thing is just waiting to blow up. And you just say, well, I can't fix it. I'm on it. I bought a ticket. I rode it. I'm fucked. Whatever happens, happens. And then you get off and you just go, oh, that wasn't so bad after all. I didn't get killed. Let's just say it does something a little bit nasty. And you just get a couple of bruises. And you just walk away. And you don't tell the next sucker anything. You don't say a word. You just walk away. Like you didn't learn anything. Like you have nothing to say except, yeah, next victim, please. I'll put you in the impossible circumstance and force you to pretend it's not going to happen as your only recourse. To escape the rational terror that you're doomed. Really, this is just... and then in his video, he was just so overt in his negating of the actuality of the substance, even going so far as to make eternal life in a hell a trivial event. So for eternity, you are tormented with the worst possible sensations of agony and uncomfortableness. And his response is, so what? Yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, that's what happened to you. Too bad. That would be how he would put that in perspective. And you're just like, no, that's a huge expense. That's a huge price if that actually did happen. And it's just like these real life threats. They're not existential. They're not existential fears. They're fears of real horror. Brain tumor, fucker. Slow, horrid, consumptive death. If you're not a little bit intimidated, if that don't shrivel you up a little, then you're an idiot. There's no other word for you. If you're not recognizing that as your potential risk of rolling these dice, you're an idiot. A reckless, crazy, stupid, escapist idiot. And all this don't worry, be happy crap is how the mess just keeps getting made. This is how the rickety roller coaster keeps rolling along. This is how the Catholic Church keeps molesting kids, so nobody fixes anything. And so, it's just such bullshit as philosophy. Feel good. It's just so short term. It's so, live in the moment, live today, and don't let anything get in your way. And, build nuclear power plants. Screw that little fear or craziness, about possible implications. Especially if the implications will happen to somebody else. Yeah, it's even easier to dispose of them because it's not you. There's nowhere to go with this. Don't worry, be happy nonsense. It's childish philosophy. It's so bad. So anyway, maybe, like I said, maybe I'll play some of his videos. I don't know. It's a lot of, like I said, a lot of stuff that isn't very direct. He doesn't quote anybody significant into any of these conversations. He just straw mans everybody with some other author said. Who cares? Do I have to defend or dissect and discredit somebody else to have my opinion? Just outrageous. To argue an argument. Apparently some idiot forgot to make room on the memory here for more video, and so I don't know where I got cut off. It doesn't really matter. Well, it sort of does. I said lots of good stuff, no doubt. So we'll just pretend I left off somewhere around. I'm sure we got the distinction between fear and desire. I just add that Andy never has never applies context. He never really talks about the biology and the mechanisms of our psychology, and so the context always seems to be removed from his conversations about our angst. But I think what probably got missed out was that we're not angsting about existential horror as much as we're angsty about, I think, most people, very real horror. We see it happen to other people, brain tumors and cancers and all kinds of crap, and we fear these fates befalling us. I'm not in any crisis about my someday not existing. I'm more a crisis about the fact that I don't have any control over how I make that transition, enough control, let's say, and I certainly don't have control over what happens to all the people I care about in terms of what kind of horror befalls them. It's not an existential problem, it's a very real, this world problem of these are unsettling circumstances, and they're unsettling for good reason, because these experiences will suck, we will have to endure them, and we do so by the volition of morons and idiots. And that should bother us even more. There's no good intent here. There's no high-mindedness. There's no best effort. It's a bunch of pantheist, dogmatic, silliest philosophy that's keeping this roller coaster broken. That's keeping us stuck in accepting, having to accept, having to whistle our "Don't Worry, Be Happy" songs to keep marching in the parade. It's just such nonsense. So I don't know where I got to the part where it was just so idiotic in his video, where he's minimizing and trivializing things like hell. Like, once you're in it, so, well, too bad, can't fear it now. Well, I'm sure when you're in hell, you fear the next 10 minutes. I'm sure you fear tomorrow. I'm sure you fear the eternity you're facing. So I'm sure you're full of fear still while you're being tortured. I'm sure everybody being tortured has plenty of fear about how much worse it can get. So that's just a crock of shit. So anyway, I did want to finish up with the fact that I have to go through some of his comments, and I really should play some of his video, but blah 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 blah. I mean, they are kind of rambly and inspecific, and he doesn't talk to anybody directly. He just argues a bunch of book writers over there rather than people making arguments right here. But anyway, so he did accuse me. He said my accusing him of being a missionary in terms of having an agenda behind his philosophy and the way he's presenting it is ironic. And what's ironic? When have I claimed to be anything other than a missionary for what I claim to be a provable truth? You're right, I am. I mean, there's no irony. I mean, I'm explicitly saying this is the reality we live in. I'm making arguments defending it. So there's no irony. You're the one pretending you don't know what you're talking about, yet you're talking it. You're the one claiming you have no handle on any truth, and yet you're speaking it as if you have a handle on a truth. So I'm just pointing out that you're very deceptive in your presentation, as I am not. I am direct, make direct statements, and I am willing to defend them, and I am willing to deal with any explicit statement you wish to make about me or my philosophy, but you don't. You just say something silly like dogma, you don't prove it, or straw man, you don't show it. Nothing I can do with your 1 or 2 or 3 word rebuttals. They're empty and vacant. They're not arguments. So bogus all over the place and such. Anyway, shall we do this again? I didn't run. I got behind. Check on the flowers. Flower. And such. Alright, got 6 minutes on this camera, so I might as well use them up. So a little add-on, I suppose. Generally speaking, just this whole horrid conversation on the internet. Maybe it is time for some time off. I mean, it's conference report and a Kantavad. Now, even this skeptical heretic, I'm going to have to do a reply to his video. I got to play that thing. Just amazing. You know, now it's, oh, God forbid somebody should actually call religion what it is. You know, a preposterously insane theory. I mean, it is insane. It will break all continuity. All logical continuity in your brain evaporates. It is essentially getting basic physics colossally wrong. Up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. It breaks all reference points. It's catastrophically dumb, okay, as theory, as truth theory. Now, yeah, you want to jerk off to it? Oh, fine. You want to make a special sauce and spell God on it or something? Go ahead. All right, but don't tell me it's not a catastrophic impediment to rationality. Oh, yeah, the premise that Daffy Duck farted the universe. There's my premise. You're going to tell me that premise isn't catastrophic to me rationally interpreting everything that goes on in this world. Of course it's catastrophic. It's a catastrophic error. And to call it delusional is frankly to be way too generous. It's fucking insane. The God theory is insane. Yeah. So anyway, any reverence for nature is not just misplaced, okay? It's unfounded drivel. And these people got to be called what they are. These pantheists, these holistites, you know, they're just making up lies, making up fables, recontextualizing the fairy tales. That's all these people are about. Oh, we have these archaic fairy tales of fire and water and boogeyman. Yeah, well, let's keep the B word. Let's find a new B word. We'll call him Bubblegum Man. And yeah, he quantums. Yeah, he's got a bag of quantum. And he's got a singularity scope. Yeah, so, okay, Bubblegum Man bounces through the forest, hippity hop, and look through his singularity scope to find a place to spread some quantum. Yeah, that's what these assholes are doing. They're talking rubbish. Yeah. And you know, it is kind of just ironic because it is all just brainwashing. I mean, once you're free of it, you look back and you say, holy shit, was I humiliated? Was my brain owned by nonsense? It's like this, skeptical heretic even used a sports analogy. And it works against him. Because, yeah, it's another example of completely fucktarded psychology. It is almost a psychosis. You'd almost call people insane, again, because it doesn't have there's no consistency to this hero worship. Oh yes, let's pay the guy to throw the ball in the hoopity-doopity $1 billion, and let's pay the guy who's going to cure your cancer $59.95. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's very rational and coherent to reality. Yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. It's called nonsense, and something that's driveling nonsense should be called what they are. Babbling idiot. Okay, idiot, insane. What's the difference? As a practical matter, what's the difference? Oh, that's right. There is no difference. Okay, yeah, that's right. The insane are meaningful merely because they're idiotic. If the insane weren't idiotic, if they weren't doing idiotic things, we wouldn't care. We'd just say, oh, look, he's insane. Oh, charming. La 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 la. No, it's because they're idiotic, dangerous, destructive, messy, sloppy. All these negative things that religious people become when they say, Mommy was right. God loves me. Bullshit. Yeah, bullshit. If there was a God, he wouldn't love you. I mean, really, he wouldn't. He would call you what you are. Fucking goddamn peasant of the worst kind. Anyway. I don't know if that's exactly where I wanted to go with the add-on, but just this whole general thing is just so fucking, I'm so sick of these pussy atheists. Pussy. Oh, flapping pussies. Jesus. No guts, no integrity. You're gonna say life is worth living, then make a rational argument, fuckers. Don't keep